So, speichern abgeschlossen. Wir müssen ja mal ein bisschen speichern. Emerald Wall. Rüstung senkt den Schaden jedes Angriffs. Das macht schwere Rüstung sehr effektiv gegen Gegner, die man tausende Nadelstichen behalten. Okay. Punkte in Fertigkeitsgruppen verbessern. Ja. Oh, wir haben Punkte gekriegt. Nur Vorteilspunkte? Nur Vorteile. Langsame Welt, XP. Ja. Annehmen. Okay. Ja, okay. Sorry. Entschuldigung, dass ich hier so reinplatze. Die sehen doch recht. Kann ich auch meine Waffe irgendwie wegstecken? Hallo? Hinter diesem Mauer bist du sicher. Oder wo meint er? Ich fühle mich irgendwie so ein bisschen... Oh, das wäre Stehlen. Oh, oh. Soll man vielleicht lassen. La 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 la.
The grease monkey, Argo?
I'm sorry, Mr. Thompson,
so.
sir. You asked why it's taking so long to fix. The answer's technical.
Don't apologize. Just try using small words for me.
The cans bust open in the oven because she's set to cook saltuna, which isn't what we've got. Mr. Thompson? I think there's someone here to see you.
Focus, Miss Holcomb. You and I are still talking. Let's start over. Walk me through the process. Show me where it's going awry.
Well, sure. It's mostly on account of what we're feeding into the mechanism.
It puts food in cans. We have food, we have cans. Why won't it work like we need?
She's expecting saltuna of a certain size. We're filling the cans with, well, not fish.
Naja, wir sprechen ihn mal an.
Seems
Oh,
we've got a guest. Really now, Parvati, I do wish you'd spoken up. I do apologize. I was given no forewarning of your arrival, or I might have welcomed you at the gates myself. I'm Reed Thompson, Outpost Administrator. I cannot help but notice you are not in uniform. Yes, so it dawns on me. Seems I allowed my excitement to run away with my wits. Been a few seasons since we've had a visitor pass through.
Only regulator we've got is hooked up to the town transformer. Mr. Thompson ain't liable to be keen on dismantling it.
I beg your pardon. I am most emphatically not keen on any such thing. I can't let you have our power regulator. But I happen to know of another one. And I happen to know exactly how you may retrieve it without frying yourself in the process. My proposition benefits the both of us. Please, hear me out. There's a power regulator in the old botanical lab. It's mostly abandoned, so all that power is being squandered. Go down to the geothermal plant. Reroute power from the botanical district over to us. Once their power's shut down, you can have their regulator and be along on your way. I was not entirely sure how to tell you this. The botanical labs are not legally inhabited, but there are people who live there.
aha. Was für eine Überraschung. Damit hätte ich ja nie gerechnet.
No, I do not imagine they will be pleased. But like a parent disciplining an unruly child, you will be doing them a kindness. The people living in the botanical labs, They're deserters, former workers. I need them back at their posts. I need them to come home.
Wieso?
Edgewater is struggling. We haven't hit our production quota in years. If we don't meet our quotas this year, the company might shut us down for good. I need those workers back at their stations. My hope is that by cutting off their power, you will convince those deserters to come back to town. Before you go to the plant, I want you to stop by the botanical lab. Speak to their leader, Adelaide. Tell her the power's about to go, and that it's time her band of deserters came back to town. Adelaide's older than the other deserters. She's dignified, kindly. From what I understand, her camp looks to her for leadership. That is not a hypothetical I enjoy entertaining. We need Adelaide back. Nonetheless, I will settle for the return
will
of
die
her
opfern?
followers. We belong to one community, the Spacer's Choice family. If we dissolve into factions, then we will all perish separately. Adelaide will understand that.
My dad told me all about the plant. Taught me all he knew. I could come in useful. I mean, if that's all right with you, Mr. Thompson. Sir.
I hesitate to part ways with Miss Holcomb, but I cannot deny that she is talented and may prove useful to you. You will need an administrative passcode in order to enter the plant. I am trusting you with mine, and trusting Miss Holcomb to guide you if you'd like.
Ja, wäre besser.
Great! I got my wrenches and diagnosticators and hairpins and engine tape, so I'm all set.
Well, I am glad to hear that. Best of luck to you, and thank you again for your help. It is a lot to ask of a stranger, I know.
Lass uns losmachen. Begleiter. Okay. Ja dann.
We better clear out of Mr. Thompson's office before we talk. Hey, ma'am, can we talk? Sorry. Can we... Sorry. You just want to get out of here. And you likely don't want to tag along like me. It's just... Mr. Thompson has his own view on matters. On account of it's his job and what all, but...
Aha.
That's not the only side of the
Hier gibt's
table.
immer die andere Seite der Geschichte.
To Mr. Thompson, a person's a gear. It does its job quiet-like. If it squeaks or stutters, it gets replaced. The deserters are decent folk. I knew some of them before they left. Miss McDevitt? Oh, gosh, no. She was a real important person. A flavorist. Made all the food taste decent. She used to work up in the big office with Mr. Thompson. All I know is she left after her son died. It was a real big to-do. I could hear them both yelling clear from my own place. I don't know anybody well. I mostly listen to them talk. Head down. There was a boy named Thomas who used to follow me around, asking questions about the stuff I fixed. He was real sweet to me. Not any sort of dissident.
Okay.
Can't say as I know. I wasn't there. The sound carried, but not the words. If Mr. Thompson ain't of a mind to tell you his own self, you'd best ask Miss McDevitt, if he can get out to her. Life's hard here. Especially for them that don't fit in so well. One big Spacer's Choice family, but every family's got the one the rest whisper about. Mr. Thompson's aiming to take away their power. They'll have no lights to see, nor heat to cook. They'll be at the mercy of marauders, or worse. I think you should talk to the town's vicar about it. Max, his name is. Thanks, ma'am. I just think when you gotta make a decision that'll hurt somebody, it's best to think on the right and wrong of it. That's what my dad used to say anyways.
Schlauer Papa. Schlauer Papa. Habe ich jetzt das richtige Ziel gerade anvisiert? Nee, ich weiß es nicht. Ich weiß es nicht. Nee, Map. Das ist Map. Okay, nee, das will ich noch gar nicht. Das will ich noch gar nicht. Du kommst mit, erst noch. Das ist noch gar nicht das, was ich wollte. Oh, vorgelaufen. Na gut, das war jetzt ein bisschen dämlich von mir. Moment, Vorteilspunkte. Adrenale Time gebrochen. Sprintgeschwindigkeit. Kritische Treffer, okay. Annehmen.
Weird in here. It's too clean.
Aha.
Yes, what is
Ja,
it?
was gibt's?
You're an outsider. Fantastic. Vicar Maximilian de Soto at your service. Or Vicar Max if you're the sort who prefers brevity. And Ms. Holcomb as well. How rare to see you out. And with a complete stranger. Curious.
Just tagging along, Vicar DeSoto. Don't mind me.
I so rarely get new people to talk to. Name your poison, anything at all. Spiritual counseling, this season's tossball predictions, the quickest way out of town.
Den schnellsten Weg aus der Stadt raus.
What? I thought you would talk to him.
You wanted to speak to me, Ms. Holcomb? Every time I've tried to engage you in conversation, you look at the floor, answer in single words, and slink away. I can't imagine what would be so grave as to drive her to my mission. What has Mr. Thompson asked you to do? Depriving them of safety from the marauders and wildlife. I can see why that troubles you. Miss Holcomb has a soft heart. Always has, if you believe the talk.
Also, was rätst du mir?
Assuming your goal is to save as many as possible, then you should bring everyone together. Send the power to Edgewater and convince the deserters to return to the fold. Not if things are left to stand as they are. If you don't mind a bit of unsolicited advice, be cautious on your way to the geothermal plant. It is not as safe as you might assume. One of the reasons I transferred here was to fulfill my duty in hunting down banned heretical texts. I happen to know such a book is, as we speak, tainting a collector's library in Emerald Vale. However, the collector's residence lies outside the town's walls. My retrieval efforts have been thwarted by marauders who have overrun the property. Should you fare better than me, I'd pay a handsome sum for the book.
Okay.
I just want to keep the writing out of layman's hands. It wouldn't do for such information to fall into public consumption.
Mhm.
It's a handwritten journal.
Handgeschriebenes
A
Tagebuch.
faded blue cover with the name M. Bakonu handwritten in the lower corner. I'll mark where I saw it on your map. Assuming you're serious? It is not only a beautiful relic of a bygone time, it's also the thoughts of an early thinker on the nature of man's place in the cosmos. Not many
Okay.
in this colony could understand its true value, should they ever read it. Thank you. If you retrieve it, you can always find me here.
Sollen wir vielleicht erst das Buch finden? Warte mal, J. Kann ich hier irgendwie die Aufträge markieren? Das wäre echt gut. Region. Ach, so. Okay, wir machen jetzt erstmal hier die...
You think corporate's ever gonna visit?
Wir machen erstmal hier, ne, ein bisschen die...
Heard something outside the walls of this.
Erstmal hier so
I
ein
cut
bisschen.
my own hair. But Conrad sells real good disinfectant.
Please don't touch
Bitte nicht anfassen,
Your
ne?
hands are probably
Wer weiß, was für Keime du auf der Hände hast.
Physical
Ja.
hygiene recapitulates
Ja.
moral hygiene.
Du bist aber auch echt ein
Cleanliness
Schönling,
is
Junge.
next to lawfulness. So everyone says, until someone forgets to cough into their elbow, and then we're all dying of plague. I'm
Ja,
Conrad.
an einer
You will
Seuche.
report to me if your hair fails to meet Spacer's Choice aesthetic standards. You will also report to me in the event of your death, whereupon I will clean and prepare your remains for interment.
Du tust was mit meinen
Burial,
Überresten?
in the unfortunate event of a fatality. It's what a barber does. We make you presentable.
Okay.
Ah, gravesite fees. Silas and I had talked about this at length. I thought I'd made it clear my pecuniary situation precludes the necessary restitutions. As broke as pie crust, friend. Bidless, indigent, destitute. I simply cannot afford it. I am a blemish on the prosperity of our fair settlement. When I expire, I expect Silas to toss my body into a ditch. With what? My own blood? Tell Silas I can't afford to pay, and that I fully expect to have my medical rights revoked for this dereliction. With my apologies. Some time ago, I fell ill with the plague. By the grace of the law, and through my own hard work, I'd proven worthy of treatment. Frankly, I don't imagine I'll earn that right a second time. The barber work hasn't been profitable, you see. I've had to keep this old place running with my own savings. Not a bad idea.
Ja, Schuldschein.
But I'd need some kind of collateral. My pair of lucky clippers. No, that won't do. Your idea intrigues me, but I'm afraid I don't have anything to give Silas. I'm open to suggestions. Much obliged.
Gut, dann haben wir noch... Hier ist doch bestimmt noch der ein oder andere, der...
Yes, Mr. Thompson. I'm fine, Mr. Thompson. Whoa, did Mr. Thompson send you? Well, you tell Mr. Thompson I'll be right at my post. Tomorrow. Bright and early tomorrow. Because I'm definitely not plagued. As spry as a spring chicken. That's old Abernathy. And what are you doing here? Visiting? Well, let me give you the grand tour. This here's my domicile, and there's the door.
Hey, freundlicher.
What? No. I mean, I might be. That depends on who's asking. Silas knows, doesn't he? That's why he sent you. That's why he wants me to pay up. He knows. I'm dying. I'm not long for this world. The date of my expiration is fast approaching. And soon I shall be ushered through the great cannery in
Ja,
the
das sieht auch nicht gesund aus, mein Freund.
Don't say that, Mr. Abernathy. You still got a couple decades in you.
I'd steer clear, Ms. Holcomb. My affliction's bound to be contagious. It's plague. Has to be. Silas knows. He knows I got one foot in my grave, and now he wants to charge me for the other one. I'll pay your fees. I don't want any trouble
Gott sei
with
Dank.
Silas. But if you could see a way to freelancing for me, I could really use the help. There's a cache of anthracillin tucked away in the old community center. Powerful stuff. Stronger than what we got, anyway. I need you to break in, nab that medicine, and bring it back to me.
Ich denke da mal drüber nach.
You're making a mistake working for Abernathy.
I've been feeling pretty low these days.
At least you got your health.
Komme ich hier irgendwo hin? Ach.
You the new worker? Whatever. Make it quick, Tenderfoot. I'm busy. Shit. Silas still on about that. Here, take the fees. I'd appreciate it if you didn't tell Reed I was late on my payment. Because they're not my fees and not my gravesite. Guy I worked with shot himself. I paid the bill. I could do without the sarcasm. Wasn't acting out of the goodness of my heart. Law requires delinquent gravesite fees to be paid by the deceased party's closest living relative, which meant me. Shame, though. Eugene was a good worker. Woke up one morning and put a round through his upper story. Can't imagine why. The kid was doing all right at
Naja,
his desk.
auch nicht schön.
We all thought he was an upstanding receptionist. Just between the two of us, I'm pretty shocked his weapon didn't misfire. Spacer's choice handguns aren't the most reliable. Eugene wasn't family.
Nicht?
Yeah, I was the closest living person relative to his body at time of death. I'm the one who found him, you see, so I pay the fines.
Aha.
Suicide's a crime. The legal term is irreparable damage to company property. What Eugene did to himself was vandalism.
Vandalismus.
I'm plenty serious. In fact, I'm a little upset Eugene didn't think things through. In other words, Edgewater would have been penalized pretty hard. Whatever Eugene was worth as an asset, we would have had to pay out of pocket to Spacer's Choice. Look around. Edgewater ain't exactly swimming in luxury. We can't afford to pay the body price of a suicide. All I know is Silas asked me for Eugene's gravesite fees, which means he was approved for burial, which means his papers went through, which means the town's in the clear. I'm just glad to put this whole ugly affair behind me. Eugene can rest his bones in peace, and the rest of us can get on with our own lives.
Boah. Ludwig. Den Ludwig. Das ist der Conrad. Da hinten ist irgendwo Ludwig. Der Ludwig. Der lud mich. Help the chairman and ministers clogged. Deface our force. Achso, wir haben noch Punkte zu verteilen. Ein paar Bits mehr. Verteile ich die Punkte nicht richtig? Händlerpreise. Wo ist denn der Ludwig? Hä? Ludwig Miller? Silas? Hä? 5 Meter? Irgendwann habe ich jetzt falsch gemacht. Hä? Ich verstehe es nicht.